this leg up over and try to take him over to the Sushi Goshi. I'm going to glide into our opponent again. Shoulder down, driving, back step. I'm swinging this leg up over. And a nice little detail here. As I'm stepping back here, shoulder gets wedged. As I'm stepping back, I'm going to pull my arm back and clamping this arm and bringing my head down as I swing this underhook up and over this direction. Yeah, so I'm trying to pull, bring down, drop, and then sort of swing our opponent up and over into this Uki Goshi position. Push. We haven't done too many foot swings and tricks because that's a whole separate video. But I'm going to go over one in particular because it's just chest position going for this technique and it's very, very nice. I really like this one. And it's kind of unusual. So we're in this sort of chest-to-chest position. We're going to dip our shoulder down and hang on the opponent here. And we're not going to just kind of stay upright here because when you go for this coach you got here, it's going to be very difficult to get and finish. So what we want to do is sort of lower our shoulder and then bring our shoulder into the sternum. And now from here, we're going to use our elbows. We're going to flare it open and bring our elbows down. Right? So notice the position of this arm here. I'm going to open and go down at the end of the lever arm, sag my hips at the same time, making sure that the head going down. I'm going to step and sag my hips down and then attack this Kochi Kake. And we're going to use this sort of later to kind of force that body lock position. So it's going to be very useful for us. Right? We're driving our opponent in here. And I want to make sure that this leg is leaned forward. Okay? Because then if I miss it, I'm going to kind of get myself into a little bit of trouble. So as I hang off my opponent here, bring my elbows down with this one, like bring my heels to my butt here, hook the leg, and then sag my body weight down to finish this technique. So these over here, I'm pitched out, yeah. We're in this chest to chest here. If I'm too high, I'm not going to do this. Right? So all the things that we did earlier, about trying to gain position here, maybe go 3 pulse and 90, and we've done all these other options here. Back stepping here to make it look like we're going for that Uki Waza. Right? Back step, snapping there. And now from here, right, there's an opportunity where I sag my chest downward, shoulder to the sternum, and I sag this hand down and I look for this hook. Yeah, hang on my opponent, and then I take him down. That's the sag Kochi Kake. Now we use that sort of idea to go for that body lock. So now we're chest to chest and we're trying to force this arm trap body lock position in order to maximize our shoulder potential from there. We're really talking about wrist and underhook wrist with any shed lock is very, very similar to the chest to chest to the body. Yeah, they're like the mountains, as a peak, Alright, so chest to chest, over here. What we're going to do is we're going to change our levels here, and then we're going to go over and then pin this elbow down, and I'm shooting this leg deep across, and then I'm collecting this arm down at the sort of end of this lever here. Right? That was the arm is much lower here. Right? We want to trap it down by his hip. If it's high, he's going to be able to wedge this arm up, and it's very, very strong. So we want to make sure that we swing at our elbow down, and then trap the hand over. And then from this position, when we take this deep step, we want to close the space. Now, we're not doing Greco, right? So I understand the criticism like Greco, like, oh, there's space between the stomach, whatever it is, but it's okay because we're able to use leg entanglements. So sometimes, even if the arm is strapped, if there's a little bit of space, we can sort of enter these leg entangled positions to work sort of some of our judo positions from here. So it's not the worst thing in the world to kind of have this very, very, very close contact connection. And, the Greco's are very, very particular about this kind of like, it has to be like this, has to be on this, has to be on that. Yeah, if you're doing Greco-Roman, 100% those things are very, very important. People get their, oh, but we're doing judo. No judo. So, we're going to go up our opponent here, and we're going to go chest to chest. I'm going to change our levels here, and then shoot this arm. So the way we want to clasp our hands is walk over here. Right? Depending on the size of our opponent's midsection, it may be an S grip, it could be a gable grip, or it could even be a wrist to wrist if our opponent is a very, very skinny person, usually. So I can definitely connect pretty deep here. Even like sort of a gable grip might be a little bit loose, but you want to tuck your elbow and then bring your hips forward and then pull your elbows into your side. So depending on the girth of the person, length of your arms, these things has to be adjusted. It's never sort of a one size fits all of like, always go for this grip back there. If you're going with someone significantly bigger with you, then you cannot physically link your hands, then you just cannot do this movement because there's just a physical limitation. That's what a weight class is.
Yeah. Even if you yourself have like big midsection, that's blocking you from getting closer.
Yes. But we're talking majority of the population, 90% of the world, you're going to be wrestling somebody similar in size and weight. Maybe not if you're in the plus, but even if you're in the plus category, you're going to be able to. So, in order to get some of this shoulder drop, sometimes you have to kind of bump into your shoulder. Bump into the shoulder to be able to kind of work the hips. Because if their hips are really far back here, and now from here it's going to be much more difficult to be able to lock the body out of the hands. In this case, I may be able to just snap his body downward and then bring his body up. And now my shoulders are a little bit too high, so I raise the shoulder underneath. And now I'm controlling this, and now I can reach and connect the hands. Generally speaking, when you're doing no-gi grappling, people tend to be in a much more upright position. And this kind of stuff works really good because the majority of the time, a lot of people are going to try to pummel double underhooks inside to connect behind the armpit and the under the armpit. We're not going to go too deep into that right now. But when you're doing this kind of thing, you're trying to pummel, right? And you cannot, so you want to create a little bit of space by popping here and then creating a little bit of space. And then I can kind of reset backwards and then anchor back down because sometimes it's very tight, too tight, close proximity, and I cannot go and hit sit so far back, right? So all these things kind of take plays a factor. I'm trying to take the hand, I cannot. I'm bumping the shoulder, trying to go underneath, right? He tries to close the distance by bringing his chest up, and then I reach in and I collect the hips and the hand from here, right? And then there's going to be lots of different options from here. We're going to go into some hip throws, traditional Japanese judo.